October of 1925. The world is still healing from the scars of the Great War, and in the Balkans, the air carries a quiet unease. Borders are fragile, and memories of conflict lie just beneath the surface. It's a crisp autumn day in the Balkans. The leaves rustle gently in the breeze, and the hillsides glow with the warm hues of fall. Life on the surface seems peaceful, but beneath that calm, the air is thick with tension, still lingering from the Great War. Soldiers stand watchful, their eyes trained on the horizon, uncertain of what tomorrow might bring. The war had torn Europe apart just a few years earlier, leaving behind shattered villages, broken families, and a continent struggling to redefine itself. During what seemed like an ordinary patrol, a Greek soldier finds himself chasing after his stray dog. The animal, playful and oblivious, darts through the underbrush, tail wagging. The dog, completely unaware of the invisible line dividing nations, bounds across the border into Bulgaria. A simple act, innocent, even comical, yet in this region even a dog's path can carry consequences. Then, shots ring out. The soldier falls. In a heartbeat, the quiet of the countryside is shattered. Confusion erupts. Who fired first? Why? The answers are lost in the chaos. What might have seemed like a small, almost forgettable event, just a footnote in the annals of history, quickly escalates. News spreads, accusations fly, diplomats scramble, the fallen soldier is buried with honors, his grave marked by a Greek flag. But his death will not be the end, it will be the spark. A strange and sudden conflict that would push Greece and Bulgaria right to the edge of war, all because of a dog, a border, and a moment of fear. The Balkan Peninsula in 1925 was, well, a region caught between the past and an uncertain future. The war had ended years earlier, but its aftershocks still echoed through the mountains and valleys of southeastern Europe. It was a region simmering with resentment and unresolved disputes. Borders had shifted, but the people living along them hadn't forgotten the bloodshed, or forgiven it. The scars left by World War I ran deep, not just in the land, but in the hearts and minds of those who had survived it. Entire generations had been shaped by the trauma of war. The collapse of old empires and the rise of new nations had completely redrawn the geopolitical map. Austria-Hungary was gone. The Ottoman Empire had crumbled. In their place, fragile new states emerged, many with conflicting claims and bitter memories. Greece and Bulgaria, neighbors with a long, complicated history of conflict, had ended up on opposite sides of the war, deepening old rivalries and creating new ones, which only made old tensions worse. National pride clashed with political reality, and the people caught in the middle were often the ones who suffered most. The Treaty of Neuilly-sur-Seine, signed in 1919 and imposed on a defeated Bulgaria, was meant to bring peace, but instead, it sowed the seeds of future unrest. It led to territorial losses and a deep, lingering sense of injustice. Bulgaria was forced to cede land, pay reparations, and limit its military, humiliations that stung for years. That treaty stirred nationalist anger and made reconciliation even harder. Political movements fed on that bitterness, turning it into fuel for future conflict. So, yeah, the stage was set. The region was a powder keg, volatile, unpredictable, and dangerously close to another explosion. All it would take was the smallest spark to ignite something much, much bigger. And in the Balkans, sparks were never in short supply. The border between Greece and Bulgaria was, honestly, poorly marked and heavily guarded. It stood as this constant, uneasy reminder of just how fragile peace really was. On October 18, 1925, a routine patrol by Greek soldiers near the town of Petric took a tragic turn. A stray dog, belonging to one of the soldiers, suddenly bolted across the border into Bulgarian territory. Without thinking, the soldier ran after his dog. Bulgarian border guards, already on edge and maybe influenced by all the tension in the air, fired warning shots. In the chaos that followed, the Greek soldier was hit. He was killed instantly. News of the soldier's death reached Athens, sparking outrage and, well, loud demands for retribution. The Greek government, fueled by nationalist fervor and eager to assert its dominance over its perceived weaker neighbor, responded with overwhelming force. On October 22, without a declaration of war, Greek troops crossed the border, launching a full-scale invasion of Bulgarian territory. The Bulgarian army, outnumbered and outgunned, mounted a desperate defense but was quickly overwhelmed. Within days, Greek forces occupied Petric and several surrounding villages. The international community watched with growing alarm as the conflict threatened to spiral out of control. The League of Nations, formed in the aftermath of World War I with the noble goal of preventing future conflicts, now faced its first real test. Under intense diplomatic pressure led by Great Britain, France, and Italy, both Greece and Bulgaria agreed to an immediate ceasefire on October 29, just 8 days after the initial incident. The League dispatched a commission to investigate the incident and mediate a peaceful resolution. The War of the Stray Dog, though short-lived, resulted in a significant and tragic loss of life on both sides. Estimates vary, but it is believed that over 50 soldiers were killed on both sides, many of them young and barely trained. With hundreds more wounded, the conflict also caused considerable damage to property and infrastructure in the border region, leaving towns in ruins. Beyond the immediate human cost, the incident further poisoned relations between Greece and Bulgaria, straining diplomatic efforts for peace. Deepening mistrust and animosity that would linger for decades, the war left a scar that time alone could not heal. The War of the Stray Dog stands as a stark reminder of the fragility of peace, a conflict that erupted not from grand political schemes or ideological divides, but from a simple misunderstanding involving a dog crossing a tense border. It illustrates how, in regions already strained by historical grievances and mistrust, even the smallest spark can ignite a dangerous fire. This seemingly insignificant event, sparked by a stray dog, was enough to trigger a chain reaction of military mobilization and political panic. Fueled by existing tensions and a lack of communication, the situation escalated rapidly, bringing two nations to the brink of war, a war that could have cost countless lives over a matter of misinterpretation. The incident highlights the crucial role of diplomacy, not just as a tool for negotiation but as a safeguard against chaos. International cooperation, when rooted in mutual respect and open dialogue, can de-escalate tensions before they spiral out of control. It underscores the need for clear communication, especially in moments of uncertainty, when assumptions can be deadly. Restraint, patience, and a commitment to peaceful solutions are not signs of weakness. They are the foundations of lasting peace. Even in the face of provocation, nations must choose dialogue over aggression, understanding over retaliation. The lessons learned from this forgotten conflict remain deeply relevant today, serving as a cautionary tale for leaders and citizens alike. In a world where geopolitical tensions continue to simmer, from disputed borders to ideological divides, the need for diplomacy has never been more urgent. Peace is not a given. It is a choice, a process, and a responsibility, one that must be nurtured with vigilance, empathy, and unwavering resolve.